Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. Welcome back to Glowing Success. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how clarity converts. So your messaging and how to shift that messaging to attract clients faster. So a lot of times when I see people not being able to attract from online messaging or even in-person messaging, it generally boils down to their clarity of who they're speaking to and what that messaging is doing for their marketing, right? So most business owners are putting, out content constantly, and they're boosting but they're not really directly talking to the client, okay? So you have to be direct. And what I mean by that is so let's say you're a skin therapist, an esthetician, and you say, I help people feel confident in their skin. Well, that's not enough. You need to be really specific on who you're talking to, because then your marketing is actually going to land. Where if you're not very specific on who you're marketing to, so I help people feel confident in their skin, that doesn't talk directly to me, right? So you need to be more clear about who you are trying to attract. Let's say you could use an example of, so I help people feel confident in their skin. I help busy women over 40 reduce fine lines and restore youthful glow with personalized anti-aging facials. Doesn't that sound better? Isn't that more like I'm speaking directly to the client I really want to attract? So let's think about this in your marketing of how many times have you posted something and it's just been so vague and it's been so blah, so to speak. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean. I'm just saying that this is common for a lot of people. Whereas when you start narrowing in on that one type of person that you want to attract, you just get so much better results. So your marketing is actually going to pay off. Your marketing is actually going to get people to book offline. Whereas a lot of people, if they're scrolling on social media, they're scrolling for entertainment. They're scrolling to feel good. They're not really necessarily scrolling to read a whole bunch of stuff. But if you're talking directly to them, hey, are you over 40 and blah, 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 then they're like, oh yeah, I am, because I'm over 40. Well, I'm 40. So let's think about that with your marketing, right? Of how that can change and what you can do to really get that to speak to that client. Now, there's so much more that we can go into with this yes, let's say that was a great idea. I help busy women over 40 reduce fine lines and restore youthful glow, right? But there's so much more that you can expand on it. So when you do a post, let's say, speak to that again. So are you a busy 40-year-old woman that blah, 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 or here's how I can instantly smooth out your fine lines, or things like that. So we really need to be talking to that problem, right? So it's really about solving a problem with marketing. It's really about being in front of your clients, where they already are hanging out and so forth. So those are the things that we really need to, speak on. They always say speak to one person, not a crowd. So that to me is always going to resonate with anything I do with marketing, is I'm speaking directly to a person. So when I talk about my business coaching, for instance, I'm talking directly to new business owners in the beauty industry and business owners in the beauty industry that are feeling stuck or they're feeling overwhelmed when it comes to their marketing, right? So those are my two categories, for instance. And so when I do my messaging, I want to speak directly to those people of what kind of problems are you dealing with that, if you're just starting a business and you feel overwhelmed, I got you. I have a marketing plan for you. You know what I mean? So that speaks directly to that person's pain point. The other thing I want to stress is when you're talking about clarity of messaging, we really want to use words that your clients are using themselves, right? So industry jargon is great, but use that with your friends. Don't use that in your marketing. Use that if you're like speaking to another industry professional, right? But when you're speaking to marketing, I want to use words that your clients would use themselves. So like lifting, firming, fast acting, instant. You think about those types of words, and then that's going to help you, because then the client, once again, is going to resonate really fast with what you're saying, and it feels like you're speaking directly to them at that point, okay? The other thing I want to bring up is we just really want to focus on one problem at a time. So let's say you are an esthetician and you mostly do skin services, but you also do waxing, and you also maybe offer a few other services, so like maybe some lash services. I really want your messaging to talk mostly about what you're trying to sell, right? So everybody has a favorite service that they like to offer. Everybody has a top selling service, that you fit in that category eventually, where you're like, I really love offering this type of facial, and I want to attract more clients for that. So I do want most of your marketing to be on that. And I want, you just to be diving deep into that topic. Right? And then sprinkling in wherever you want the other services that you want to talk about, the other services that you want to book. So I will say, try to address that one problem at a time, or that one service, or that one topic in that service, but we're being really clear about it, right? So another example is like struggling with acne that flares up every time you're stressed out. Here's how we help, or here's an instant fix. So that's a good idea for a post that you can do, or a reel that you can do, because it's talking directly to somebody that's struggling with acne that flares up every time they're stressed. And then you give a solution of like, hey, I'm going to give you a way that I can help you alleviate that acne quickly, right? Because you always want to be solving that client's problem. Okay. Another thing I hear a lot anyway, is talking like it's a service menu instead of a solution. So that's kind of what I was meaning with that, is like, let's not say I have this hydrating facial, or whatever the words that you want to use. There's all sorts of different name brands out there for things. I would not use that. So I always tell people to change their service menu to be words that your clients are going to use. So once again, when you're talking about a service, yes, you can interchange that brand name in there, but really talk to those words that those clients would use to describe that, right? So I really want you to just keep on thinking, okay, would my client use this word to describe this service? And the best way to start to familiarize yourself with this is to get feedback. So if you're just starting off, maybe getting feedback from models that you've had, or family and friends that you've done, or people in beauty school, let's say. If you had a little bit of clients, I highly suggest always asking for feedback. So ask for feedback in their first appointment. And I usually suggest asking for feedback like every 6 months to a year, right? We want to know what we're doing right, what we're maybe missing. And a lot of times people don't ask for feedback because they're scared of it, right? I mean, you got to be a little self-critical when you're in the beauty industry anyway, because we are in the industry to help others and to be people-focused and to, offer services. So we need to know if we're not doing something correctly. But this is a good opportunity for you to start paying attention to the words your clients are using, right? So if they leave a Google review, or if they're leaving that feedback form, what kind of words are they using in that? And start to pick up on that and start to kind of bank those words so you can use them in your marketing. Okay. And so I always tell people, ask yourself this, is this for me? So when you're thinking about marketing, even when you're scrolling on social media or Google or wherever you're finding out about services, is this for me? Is the marketing talking directly to you? Right? And so essentially that's what you really want to hear is is this for me? Is this for that person directly? Am I speaking directly to that person? Right? Now, some of this is going to be based on you understanding your ideal client. And so I do go over this in my Beauty Business Jumpstart program. So if you haven't joined that program yet, I highly suggest joining it, because we do talk about your ideal client and getting clear on who that is. Because in your messaging and being clear with your messaging, if you don't understand who your ideal client is, that's not going to help you in any way, right? You can't get clear on your messaging if you don't even understand your ideal client. So obviously understanding who your ideal client is, of like what their interests are, how do they find out about new services, why are they getting that service, and really dig deep into that. So they're not just getting that facial for clear skin. They're getting that facial to get confidence. They're getting that facial maybe to go to an event in 6 months. They're getting that facial in order for them to show up in their life in a bigger way. So we want our marketing as beauty professionals to really speak to that, not speak to, I'm going to clear your skin. That doesn't help anybody. Nobody's going to want to sit there and be like, I don't know. No, I want to have more confidence in my daily life. This is how I'm going to achieve it, right? Same like fitness, right? The fitness industry has done this really well. You're going to lose inches and feel confident in your swimsuit. However, your marketing can fit that, obviously. So knowing who your ideal client is does definitely help. And then after that, you can be specific, on why it matters to them. Maybe set some urgency with it too. Of like, I'm going to clear your skin right away with this treatment, 45-minute treatment, hour treatment, 60-minute treatment, whatever you can do. And once again, use simple language, okay? So let's give some examples. I gave some examples for estheticians and clearing skin. So I help people feel confident in their skin. Let's go even further than that. Like, that's such a vague way to market. Say, I help busy women over 40 reduce fine lines and restore youthful glow with personalized anti-aging facials. Doesn't that sound so much better? Let's go on to like lashes. I have this written down here. So I am looking. So I got everything ready for you guys today. So I've seen this posted many times. I create beautiful lashes for my clients, or I create beautiful, long-lasting lashes, customized lashes, right? We've all seen those. So instead of saying that, if you're a lash extension artist, say, I give working professionals low maintenance, natural looking lash extensions that last through busy weeks without smudging or flaking. Or you could say no mascara needed, something like that. Or I help busy moms get ready in 5 minutes with my lash service. Something like that, right? If you're a massage service, I provide relaxing massages to help people feel better or help people relax. I've seen this a lot, right? You could say, I specialize in deep tissue massage to relieve chronic neck and shoulder pain for people who work at a desk all day, or if you're on your phone a lot. So be specific on like, a lot of your clients have corporate jobs? Speak to that and speak to maybe their upper neck and shoulder issues, right? If you're a nail technician, I offer natural nail manicures, right? You could say, I design long-lasting, chip-resistant gel nails, let's say, for busy moms who want polished hands without the hassle of daily touch-ups. So be specific on what you're doing and how you're speaking to them, but really be specific on like that person, like who is that person and like why are they getting this done, and be more detail-oriented and things like that, okay? A good one for facials that I kind of shared with earlier is like busy women over 40 who want a quick 60-minute anti-aging facial they can fit into their lunch break, right? That speaks to you, right? There's a little bit more there. Like if you have a corporate job and you're struggling with tension headaches, who needs a targeted relief after their long work days? That's a good one for massage therapists. So think about who you're talking to, really be clear on being specific on that. It is one of those things where it takes time to perfect this. So this is not going to be something that you maybe are going to get overnight. You have to maybe like kind of tweak it a little bit, write it down. I write things down until I like really come clear with things, especially when I'm doing like Instagram reels. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Okay, let me try this. So really think about it, but be specific on who your client is. Be specific on what problem you solve, and then, use words that they would use. Those are my top tips for being clear in your messaging when it comes to marketing. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week. I hope you liked that episode and found something useful or tip that you can use immediately. And my episodes come out weekly, so I'll see you in the next episode.